Hey everybody, it's the coach. This is a special edition of Wildcard Weekend on EA Sports. We are moments away from what should be an excellent matchup between the Minnesota Vikings and the Dublin Celtic Tigers. I'll be back with you again with scores around the league at halftime. But kickoff right around the corner. And standing by to call the action, here are Brandon Gaudin and Charles Davis.
All right, Coach, thank you very much. It's the National Football League presented by EA Sports. Coming up, it's the final game of Wild Card Weekend, and we've got a good NFC matchup in store between the Minnesota Vikings and the Dublin Celtic Tigers. Hello, everyone. Welcome to the postseason on EA Sports. Alongside Charles Davis, I'm Brandon Gaudin. And, Charles, that's really all I need to say to get you fired up. It's the postseason on EA Sports.
And no one's more fired up than the guys who are going to be playing in this game. This is what they fought for all year long. Go back to the OTAs, the mini camps, training camp, throughout the season to get to the playoffs. The intensity level will be off the charts.
Winner go home is the mantra, and off we go. We're underway in this NFC wildcard game. And that'll carry over the back line of the end zone for a touchback. So here's the Viking offense making their way out. And leading them out there, we get a look at their 6'3" quarterback.
It's pretty much become the norm when we see guys come out before a game and go through the route tree with their receivers. I thought it was exciting for us to see the exact same thing happen in practice.
He's so meticulous, isn't he?
He really is, and that tells me it's not just a one-time-a-week thing. They work on it all the time, trying to hone that fine edge. They want to see if they can get in sync and stay in sync in this one.
Off the bootleg, Fields. And it's a short one here, complete to the tight end. The completion good for 3, and it's second down. And the big boys up front in the trenches. What do you think of the O-line, Charles?
I love them because this is a group that's so cohesive. They know what the man next to them is going to do at all times, and they operate as a terrific unit.
Here's 2nd and 7 now from the 28. Looking right. Not much room here as he only gets it to about the 30. Call it a gain of a yard, and it's going to bring up 3rd and 5. And the big meat on the D-line. We'll see how they do today.
And I'd hate to be an offensive lineman having to deal with these guys. They come in hungry, mean, and confident. They think that no one can block them.
Third play here, this opening drive, as they're up against a 3rd and 5.
Now let's go! Green, 39!
From the gun, Fields. And this is going to be incomplete.
And third down is a key down in any game you play. And third down defense, something we've got to watch in this one. Got to be effective on the passing downs. That's a pretty good first step right there.
Just a yard return there after a punt of 49. And the offense will take over with a new set of downs. So out comes this offense to take over for the first time. And they will be led out by their 6'4" quarterback.
And what I enjoyed watching this week when we had a chance to watch them at practice, the easy camaraderie that he has with his offense.
A lot of respect.
A lot of respect, and frankly, I thought it spilled over to the defense. I thought the defensive guys were coming over and teasing and joking with him. You can tell they respect the heck out of him and really want to play well for him.
Now they try the right side here. And he goes nowhere. He'll lose yardage back at the 17. It's a loss of 2 there, bringing up 2nd down.
And, Brandon, as we continue to see, so much of the influence on this game is now coming from those hybrid-type players. In this case, strong safety, not worried about covering the pass. What a play on the run.
Tackled for a loss.
Yeah, forget the pregame introductions. Introduced himself with authority on that play.
And they'll get him down here at the 23. 6 yards on the pickup, and that's going to bring up a 3rd down.
And we see another pitch and catch there to the running back. This position just continues to evolve. They become just as critical to the passing attack as a lot of receivers, tight ends, because their ability to make people miss in the open field can really generate big plays for an offense.
His first catch of this wild card game, and it's good for a first down.
Nice catch right there. Brings to mind the sentence, when in doubt, find your veterans.
I used to laugh back in the day when they would call guys like him crafty veterans. You get up in your 30s, you're still playing receiver, but you're around that long at that position, you're doing something right.
Just remember this. When he was young, he thought the crafty veteran was simply a guy who couldn't run anymore. Now he understands a little bit better.
And not much room to operate as he'll get this up only to about the 41. And this O-line, it is the lifeblood of the offense.
They establish the tone. Mean, nasty, physical. They can't wait to get after people. That allows the rest of the offense to feel confident.
To throw on second down. Roth. And he finds a man with a crossing route. And he goes down, but not before getting this inside the 25. And that one results in 35 yards. So the big play gets him all the way down to the outskirts of the red zone here for 1st and 10.
Let's go! Brand 38! Brand 38!
They'll run it now out of the gun. And he'll get about 5 here as he'll take this down inside the 20-yard line. Here now the starters defensively for the Vikings. Well, they were very strong in that victory from a week ago.
It was a little bit enlightening talking with the defensive coordinator about their performance last week because his feeling was good, solid performance, did what they needed to do to get the job done and get the win. They definitely would like to see some improvement in this week's game.
They always want improvement, don't they?
They certainly do.
They'll run it now out of the gun. They'll get forward for 3 down to the 16-yard line.
Well, that call makes sense because they've been throwing it well on this drive, and once again they show passing formation, showing the shotgun. Then they ran out of it. That's a nice play by them defensively, though, to hold it to a short gain.
And they'll run it here. And he's able to pick up the first down before he's tackled right at the 10. It's a gain of 6 as they're able to convert, and now it's 1st and goal. A stop there on 3rd. They could have held him to 3 on this opening drive. Now they have to bow their necks on 1st and goal.
And if I'm looking at this from the offense's point of view, that's a big-time pickup right there, and I'd go right at him with another momentum play. I'd go quickly and attack them because right now they probably have their heads down a little bit since they didn't stop them on 3rd down.
It's a loss of a yard there, and now 2nd down.
Well, that's the big drawback to this play. Even if somehow the quarterback pitches it, he's not immune to the big hit. In this case, he kept it and absorbed it anyway.
Looking to throw on 2nd down. Wrong. Oh, it's a screen pass. That's complete. And they'll go backwards here, losing yardage to the 14.
Time to give a little credit here. That was an excellent read by the guys on the defensive side of the ball.
Oh, you're crediting your defense.
Got to credit them on that one because they tried to fool them, right? Tried to trick them, ran a screen, and they went to it and smothered it for a loss of yardage.
Flushed out right. He may try and run. The ball comes out, and this will get out of bounds at the 2-yard line.
Now, I have to admit, partner, that I've often thought that I don't like this rule, where the offensive player fumbles the ball, goes out of bounds, and they get to keep it.
That's just because you're a defensive guy. That's why you don't like it.
Yeah, you're right. It's a slanted view, isn't it?
But this is where, for the offensive team, the sideline is their friend. Usually it's not there for him.
Yeah, exactly right. I actually played for a guy in college. You know what he used to name the sideline? Sammy. Sammy sideline, and use him well.
Out is the kickoff unit as they run up and send this one away. And this will not be returnable. It's out of the back of the end zone for a touchback. Now this offense ready to head back out there. They just did manage to sneak into the playoffs as a 6th seed, so it's a tough road ahead. They would need to win 3 games on the road in January, but there's 20 other teams who wouldn't mind being on that road.
You're exactly right about that. But your point about how daunting this is well taken, because it all depends on their mindset now. How do you break it down so that you're not looking at this whole big road and say to yourself, we've got no shot? You break it down to this game right now, win that one, then worry about the rest of them after that.
And that's exactly right, and the staff told us that. They've been focusing with the players on don't look ahead, but that's hard to do sometimes, is it not?
It is hard to do because the ultimate goal is to do what? Is to win a Super Bowl. So you have to look ahead a little bit, but you make sure you focus on the game at hand.
So there on that play, offensively, they ran the crossing route. Defense was in zone coverage, so as a former DB, how tough is it to defend that?
It's really difficult because your natural inclination is to chase the receiver and maybe leave your zone. So you have to have discipline in order to talk to your other coverage guys and let him know that that receiver's crossing from your zone to the next zone. He's coming your way. Make sure you have him. And then when the ball is actually thrown, secure the tackle. When they're moving on crossing routes, if you miss a tackle, it usually results in a big play.
And this time the yards won't come so easy as they'll, in fact, tackle him behind the line. That's going to go as a loss of 4, and it'll be 2nd down.
That's a tough one right there. He ran right into the teeth of the blitz as the linebacker was freed up in order to stuff that one for a loss. I think quarterbacks got to see that. Got to find a way to audible into something a little more advantageous.
And he'll be taken down just shy of midfield after a gain of about 4.
When you find that kind of yardage, you couldn't be more confident as a ball carrier. And guess what? You're going to go back and tell your offensive coordinator, I'd like to keep carrying it, thank you.
The threat of a 2nd straight punt to start the game is looming as they come up 3rd and 10.
Set! 3-19! 3-19!
Off the play fake. Fields. Under pressure, and he will go down. Sacked back at the 46.
We said it before the game, and I think it's still apparent. If these guys are going to advance in these playoffs, they're going to have to wreak some havoc coming off the edge.
Yeah, wild card round. They told us the wild card could be that defensive pressure. They showed it there. And the punt team on now as this one's sent away. Out comes this offensive unit as they get set to take over here. And last time they got 3 points, but it was a chip shot field goal. And when you go to the sideline after a chip shot field goal, maybe the offense not too happy.
It's a balancing act, isn't it? Because you're exactly right. They're none too pleased that they didn't punch it in for 6 points. But we also have to remember they did put points on the board.
3 points is 3 points.
And in this league, you take points when you can get them. Not easily done.
Give them 3 on 1st down. It'll set up a 2nd and 7.
Vision is so important for the man in the middle because his ability to look through all the clutter that's happening in front of him, diagnose a play, and then go make it and finish it, that's when the great ones know that they have the goods.
With a double coverage, and it's intercepted. Picked off around the 41, and they will set up shop at their own 41-yard line.
And Brandon, the passing game for both of these teams is going to be affected as the game goes along. It's not looking like the rain's going to let up anytime soon. So that might mean a few more wobbly passes and wide receiver slips. And this one winds up getting intercepted.
Now this offensive unit ready to see what they can do here. They've had it twice. They've punted twice. Not the start they were hoping for.
Not at all. And let's face it, every facility we visit, everyone talks about converting on 3rd down, how big that is. In this situation, they've had to punt it away twice, so they're furiously going over things on the sidelines. What do we need to do to pick up a 1st down and change our momentum?
Just a yard on the pickup there, and it'll bring up a 2nd and 9.
They tried a quick hitter inside, but that one was swallowed up because what they're hoping, those big defensive linemen will take the bait and move laterally and open up a crease that they can run through. Didn't happen on that play.
Here we go now. 3-19.
And they'll go ground game here with a tailback. And 3 yards there takes him to the 45.
Brandon, all things considered, they have to feel pretty good about getting that type of a gain considering the blitz that they just had against them.
Here we go now. 3-19. 3-19.
throw on third down. Fields. Staying on his feet. But he can't get away forever, and down he goes.
Like the footwork back there, and I thought he did a pretty good job of evading that first wave of players. Tried to buy a little extra time out of the pocket, but in the end, oh, that was a tough one.
Yeah, winds up getting buried for the loss. The Vikings send out their punter as he'll come on to kick this one away. And he's getting a workout here in this first quarter as he gets it away. And that one hits a little too close to the goal line, and it continues into the end zone for a touchback. And here now the offense heading back out there. And following the interception, just any interception, are you a little bit more cautious when you start that next drive, or no, you just throw that out the window?
I think you are. I don't think that there's any way you can run back out there and go, totally didn't affect me. Let's just go ahead and be loose with the football again. You're going to take care of it, but you have to be careful about being too cautious because now you can't run any offense at all.
Still want to attack. We'll see how they attack him here. They're throwing to start the drive, but that one incomplete.
Had the right idea there, trying to throw it to the sideline, but he led him just a little bit too much, trying to get it out to his receiver. Ends up falling to the ground, incomplete.
Again from the 20 after the incompletion. Here's 2nd and 10.
Here we go.
Throwing again on 2nd and 10. Wrong. A quick hitter, complete. It's Barnett. And he'll go down just shy of the 25 at the 24-yard line. 4 yards on the completion, and it sets up a third down. On third down, Roth. And it's a short one here, complete to his tight end. His first catch of this wild card game, and it's good for a first down.
One thing you're hoping for when you run drag routes, you're able to hit a receiver in stride, and he can pick up a lot of yardage after the catch. But in this situation, the defense was effective, able to stop him before he could get a good head of steam going.
The NFL Sports is fueled by Gatorade. The sports.
With Charles Davis, I'm Brandon Gaudin, and it's the Dubliners with a football here to begin quarter number 2, and they've got it here with a first down. Now a handoff looking right. A strong running. And he'll be limited to a short gain up to about the 34-yard line. 2 yards on the pickup there. It'll be 2nd and 8.
Well, we saw him there trying to get it to the outside, trying to get to the perimeter, but not a whole lot of room there. But there's got to be one positive to that. If you keep moving laterally, creases tend to develop as the game moves on, and they can run it back inside later.
And maybe the wrong read there as he's going to go down immediately. It's a loss of 2, now third down.
I don't think there's any doubt that if it's me, I'd be really cautious about continuing to call this play because you got to know. Defenders, if they get a free shot at the QB, they want to take it, and they want to take it big.
And they got it there on the option play for a loss. Back to throw. Roth. And it's incomplete. Took a shot, couldn't connect.
Not only was the call spot on, how about the execution of that defense right there? The zone was absolutely locked up tight. He was trying to force it in there on third down.
But if there's a time to force it, he felt like he needed to make a play, right?
Yeah, exactly right. Third down, you got to try and find something. There's nothing available there for him.
So a change of possession here on the punt. Now the Minnesota offense set to take over again. So far they've... Throwing on first down. Fields out to the left here to Reed. And he'll go down here at the 35-yard line. Now the Vikings will use the second of their timeouts as the clock will stop with 55 seconds to go until halftime. So 2nd and inches after that first down completion went just shy of the marker. Operating from the gun. Fields. And that's incomplete. fair to say hasn't been his best game throwing the football, but also not getting a lot of help out there either.
Yeah, you nailed it pretty well, you know. He's got to throw it better, got to get more help. Obviously one that should have been caught. They've got to find a way to bring those two elements together so they can make some progress in this one.
Looking to throw. Fields. Oh, he's got a man wide open, complete. He's got his first catch here before halftime, and it goes for a first down. And now the passing game here in the second quarter starting to heat up a little bit.
Don't you feel the rhythm starting to happen, right? You see it. Now the confidence is starting to rise. I think now as a play caller, because that has happened, you lean on it a little bit more. You don't go totally away from running the football, but you do say, guess what? We can throw it. We can throw it well with a whole lot of confidence.
He'll get 3 yards on the scramble there. It's second down. The Vikings in the hurry up. They're hustling up to the line. To throw on second down. Fields firing quickly here, and that's complete. Now here's a timeout as they're going to get it with 8 seconds remaining here in the first half. The offense on third down tonight, 3 for 7 so far in this game. They're looking at third and a few inches. From the gun, Fields. And that will be incomplete. 4 ticks left here on the clock. So with 4 seconds to go in the half, here's the field goal unit onto the field. From the right hash here, should be an easy one. And the kick by Elliott is good. And they are on the board, trailing now 6-3. So the field goal there caps what winds up to be an 11-play drive.
Well, partner, that's a lot of offense to run there to only get 3 points. So I just wonder, are they going to recycle those plays because they were successful in getting 3? Or do you go to another section of the playbook trying to find ones that get you into the end zone and get you 6?
This is taken about 7 yards deep. So we come upon halftime here in this NFC Wildcard matchup. As it's time now to send you back stateside to Orlando, Florida, and check in with Jonathan Coachman at our EA Sports Halftime Report. Coach.
All right, Brandon, thanks very much. It's the first of 2 games here on this Wildcard Sunday. We'll get back out to you guys in just a moment. But first, let's take a look back to yesterday's NFC Wildcard game. And it's the Arizona Cardinals who are not done yet as they were able to eliminate the Seattle Seahawks. Meanwhile, in our game, just a field goal separates these 2 sides at the break. One will go on to the divisional round, one will go home. To find out who it is, let's get you back out to Brandon and Charles.
Thank you, sir. A field goal separates these 2 teams as we come back for this second half. One of these 2 teams about to play their final half of the season as we're back at it in this NFC wildcard bout. And he'll be brought down at the 23, make it the 24-yard line. So out now comes the offense back onto the field. They have the lead. Now they'll be looking for some separation here as we begin the third quarter.
I like the way you term that because now I think they go a little bit deeper into their playbook.
So on 4th down, out trots the kicker in a big spot here. From the left hash, it's a 36-yard attempt. And Elliott puts this one through. And in the 4th quarter, this game is tied. Well, you talk about clutch. That one was right down Broadway, and this game's all even here in the 4th.
Yeah, he didn't leave any doubt, did he? Good snap, good hold, dead center. Almost like a big-time golfer in a major, firing at a pin from the fairway, trying to win the tournament going down the stretch.
Now this offense about ready to take over again. When you talk to these guys in training camp, these are the moments they say they live for. You're in a playoff game. It's tied, 4th quarter. Time for somebody to step up.
And can you execute under pressure? Because the pressure is intense right now. No one wants to be responsible for making the error that costs their team. But at the same time, who's going to be responsible for making the play that gives the advantage to your team? Who's going to break out? Just what you said.
And he's taken down, but able to slip across the 35. Nice way to start the drive, a gain of 12 and a first down.
And after that completion, you can understand why so many teams in the league are emphasizing speed on defense in every position. The tight ends have created so many tough matchups now. If you can't run with a tight end as a linebacker, this is going to be the result every time.
This quarterback now, a perfect 8 for 8 to start the second half. Not bad. 1st and 10.
Here we go. What?
And on the ground they go with the running back. And he's got it up over the 40 to the 41. Call it a gain of 4 on first, and that'll make it 2nd down.
I call that play a success. A nice inside run sets up a very manageable 2nd down. A very solid gain on that play.
Come on, let's go. What? 90.
Looking to throw on 2nd down. Roth got his man complete over the middle. That's Barnett. And he'll get up near the 45. They'll spot it at the 44. Only 3 yards on the catch. It's 3rd down.
I always laugh when people say, what's the toughest route to defend? And I'm like, any of them, especially if it's a good receiver. That makes things very difficult. But when you're running a drag route, something short, shallow, going through defenders, using guys almost as screens in order to get open, that makes things tough for guys trying to get to the football.
From the gun on 3rd down. Roth. And a quick throw here. That's complete. And he will have the first down as he's brought down up near midfield. They get 5 out of that one, and it moves the chains. And they'll go with a ground attack here. Takes to midfield, but no further. Just a yard there.
Nice job by that defensive front there to hold him to a short gain on 1st down. Well played, I must say.
Yeah, only getting 1 yard. There was no room to run. Back to throw. Roth, 4 yards on the completion, and it sets up a 3rd down. And the Vikings with an extra defender in the secondary on 3rd.
Playing coverage here.
Come on, let's go. Try 38.
Operating from the gun. Roth. It's a short one here, complete to the tight end. And he'll be taken down at the 44-yard line. 2 yards is all they'll get on the completion. It's 4th down.
Well, the coverage was tight that time. They allowed the pass underneath to him, but they rallied to him pretty fast, too. Converged on him and got him down. That'll bring up 4th down.
And the Vikings now heading onto the field. And last time able to get 3. It's not what they wanted. They wanted 6, but they got at least something. They mustered something out of the drive.
They'll take it. I like the way you've described it. Not ideal, but they'll take it. Anything to put some points on the board. But this time on offense, they don't even want to see the field goal kicker trot on the field. They want that ball in the end zone.
Yeah, they'll be going for 6. Looking for a seam, but finding none. He'll get back to the line of scrimmage, and that's it. And this defense continues to give them fits. They just can't get really anything going on the ground, can they?
I love the theme that you just brought up. This defense has been tough all game long against the run. We just saw another example of it there.
And they get him down, but not before he takes it across the 40-yard line. 5th catch of the afternoon, and that gives him a first down. 5th catch of the game for him there.
Yeah, and the tight end position is now becoming a volume pass catcher. It used to be occasional, right? Safety valve. Throw one to him every so often, but mainly they want him out there to block. Nowadays, an integral part of the passing game, and they create such great mismatches that they often become the leading receiver.
And they'll try the ground game here with the running back. And he'll be corralled out across midfield down to the 45. Another nice gain, 13 yards that time, and another first down.
And that run was what a lot of people call an explosive run. Gave them good yardage, solid yardage. They feel good about the whole thing, and they did it behind a 2 tight end set. It's always interesting to watch what offenses want to do with the 2 tight ends. Sometimes they line them up together for a power set. Sometimes they put one on each side of the line of scrimmage to balance things out. No matter what, though, when you see 2 tight ends on the field, your first thought is to think run. In this case, the offense was able to run successfully.
He's got his man on the crossing route. And they'll wind up getting this one all the way down inside the 20. He got 29 yards that time. And there they went crossing route against the zone defense. What do you think of that?
Takes real coordination between the passer and the receiver because you've got to read those zones and where the open spots are and be on the same page with the guy throwing the football. Because sometimes you're throwing it in front of the zone. Sometimes you're throwing it between the zones. Sometimes the receiver's going to just kind of find a spot and what we call sit down and present himself to the quarterback and throw it there. It's a tough read, but when they're in sync, it's really effective. That play wasn't quite as big as the play that preceded it, but still, gotta like the way they're moving the football, partner.
Absolutely. Pretty good room to run on that last play.
Yeah, they didn't get a first down, but still, you'll take runs like that each and every time, won't you?
Let's go! 3-19!
Off the bootleg. Fields. This will be caught just inside the 10. And here he'll get it down to the 7. That catch good for only a yard, and it'll be third down.
I think it's okay there. They didn't get a whole lot on that play, but it's nice to have a safety valve that's built like this guy. Big target, guy you can spot pretty easily. Put it on him when your other targets aren't open.
Oh, it's a nickel set here defensively on 3rd and inches.
Still want to be prepared for a pass.
Now let's go! Green 39! Green 39!
From the gun, Fields. And he'll get into the end zone. Touchdown, Minnesota. As his guys are in for 6. And the Vikings are able to strike for 6.
I wonder if he changed anything on his play sheet or they just executed better. Because they had 2 previous drives that ended in field goals. Before this one, they finally were able to put into the end zone.
Well, whatever he did, speaking of the offensive coordinator, might be using that formula going forward. It worked there.
Yeah, it worked very well. He and his field general in pretty good sync right now. They're starting to move the ball well.
A good hold in these wet conditions. The point after is up and good. And the decision to just kick the extra point winds up successful. So that drives 7 plays in length. And it all culminates in a touchdown for Minnesota. Elliott now to kick this one away. This will be taken to the back of the end zone. And no run back here. This will be a touchback, and it comes out to the 25-yard line. And now back out comes the offense. And right now these guys, they're shuffling a little bit, maybe doubting, because 3 straight drives have ended with them punting the football away.
Yeah, so you start pointing fingers at each other a little bit, asking a lot of questions. What are you seeing? What are you getting? Maybe trying to narrow down your playbook a little bit and maybe get simpler rather than more complex in order to try and fashion together a drive.
Eluding the pressure right. And they get him down, but not before he takes it across the 40-yard line. This drive starting off on the right foot, 18 yards. So there you go. Save your best scramble of the day for a big-time situation in the 4th quarter, picking up the first.
You don't want to use it up early, right? You want to make sure you save it for that exact moment, that key time. And that's what he did, although you and I both know it wasn't planned that way. But what a nice job using his eyes, scanning the field, and realizing when it was time to exit the pocket and go.
To throw on 2nd down. Roth. Quick hitter here, it's complete. And he'll take it down shy of the 45 at the 46. It's a pickup of 6 and good enough to move the chains.
When you see zone defense and you know you've got a drag route on as your primary call, you've got to be really careful as a passer about how far you let your guy go because he might wander into some tough coverage.
The drive continues as they search for a tying touchdown. Here's 1st and 10. On 1st and 10, Roth. Throwing for his running back, and he's got him complete. And he'll be brought down at the 45-yard line. Call it a 1-yard gain on the play, and that'll make it a 2nd down.
Let's go! Brand 38!
Operating from the gun, Roth. And an alley to run. And he's taken down inside the 30. Able to make something out of nothing there. 17 yards and a first down.
Containing him is becoming a big problem. We've already seen this once earlier on this drive.
Yeah, and so now 2 times this has happened. Do you adjust something?
Yeah, I think you do. I think you got something about your rush lanes. Try not to either get too wide or too narrow. Make sure someone is there waiting for him to take off.
Throwing on first down, but this one winds up to be incomplete. So now they'll come up on 2nd and 10, once again from the 28. To throw again. Roth. And he'll be out of bounds just inside the 25-yard line. It'll be a gain of 4. And all of a sudden here, it's 3rd down.
Was that a receiver? Yeah, actually it was. It was a running back who was a receiver on the play. Ike's been spending time in the receiver drills getting his feet down.
Well, those guys out of the backfield, they got to be good, agile with their feet. He showed the agility there with a toe tap.
No doubt about it. It's like he'd run to ballet school. Got the toes down and stayed in bounds.
Offense.
And that'll set him back 5. So the false start certainly doesn't help matters as they'll try again now. 3rd and long. From the gun, Roth. And, a crusher there as it's intercepted. Picked off at the 22. And they have the football and will take over at the 24-yard line.
Brandon, offensively, this has been a tough day for him. Trying to find a place to throw the football. It's been extremely difficult. I've got to give a lot of credit to the secondary, especially the corners who've had the receivers on lockdown.
And now out comes Minnesota. And for them, a touchdown their last go-around. Obviously, they'll be hoping to do that again.
And when you start plotting for this drive, when you start thinking to yourself, okay, what are we going to do? You don't go away from what you did before because that worked, but you have to be prepared for wrinkles and counters because you know they'll make some adjustments.
On first down, Fields. It's a short one here, complete to his tight end. 7 yards, the pickup on the pitch and catch.
Nice rhythm throw there on first down. He located his tight end, made it a nice, easy pitch and catch.
Hoping he can break a tackle or two. Wasn't able to do that there, but still good yardage. Time for a break. We're back to see what happens after this. The Vikings in possession of the football as we get you reset. They've got a 2nd down now as they search for a way to get this one to the finish line. They'll run it now out of the gun. And not much of an opening there as he's only going to get this to about the 32. And now we'll see a timeout used on defense as they stop it right out of the break with 1:57 to go in the ballgame. And now following that timeout, the defense back out onto the field. Now this is a big 3rd down, and you'd have to think we'd see a timeout right away if they can't stop him here. They'll run it now out of the gun. And he gets it to the 34. Good enough for the first. And whistles, and we're going to have another stoppage of play as they call the timeout on defense with 1:53 left. All right, so the timeout over and all 11 men back out onto the field for the defense. And not totally home free yet, but it's looking good as they come up 1st and 10. And they'll go on the ground. And he'll work this one up to about the 38. And now we're going to get a timeout defensively. So another stop, 1:50 left in the football game. They'll run it now out of the gun. And hard running's going to get him over the 40 to the 42. Give him 4 on the carry, and it'll make this a 3rd and about 2.
I like a guy who understands the situation. I also like a guy who you look at him and you say, that looks like a guy who knows the coach is going to say, guess what? You drop this one, you'll be carrying around the training facility.
And he can't get a throw away. He's taken down.
This offensive line flat out cannot handle this pass rush. We've seen it demonstrated time and time again to the tune of 7 sacks in this game thus far.
The Vikings send out their punter. He's been terrific so far. And he gets this away, and look at this. This is a good one. Now this offense ready to head back out there. One possession game. Time very much a factor. How does the offense handle this situation?
Well, in a lot of cases, they should be somewhat relaxed. And I know that's counterintuitive because this is a pressure situation. But this is Friday practice every week of the season. You go over this situation, having to go downfield, limited timeouts, got to get out of bounds and keep the drive going and set yourself up. Defensively, you can't just lay back and let them do whatever they want. So it is a cat and mouse deal here. How much pressure will the defense bring, and how much pressure can the offense handle? We're
going to find out. And that one goes incomplete. They tried something out of the bag of tricks, but it's incomplete and now second down. He's back to throw. Now a desperation throw deep down. And, a crusher there as it's intercepted. Picked off at the 23. And this return is going to be halted right around the 28-yard line. And I know it's hard to find solace on one side when the season ends, no matter where it ends, but especially in the playoffs because there's all that build up to the moment. But I would imagine the post-game locker room speech, it'll have a pretty positive spin.
It should. They've made a heck of a run to get to the playoffs and have that chance to advance, even though they didn't. But you're right about how much it's going to hurt because when you work that hard to get this far, it hurts just a little bit more. No matter when your season ends, it's a downer. But in this case, even more so because you had your eyes on the big prize, which was the Lombardi Trophy.
And for Charles Davis and our entire crew, I'm Brandon Gaudin. You've been watching the NFL on EA Sports.